So this Saturday we have got Khalil Rountree taking on Jamahal Hill in UFC Fight Night, Azerbaijan. Bit of a weird location, but I'm liking it. This is what we need from the UFC. Let's abandon the Apex. Let's let Israel blow it up, maybe. Is YouTube going to allow me to say that on here? I don't know. Let's let them do that. Let's get rid of the Apex. Let's keep on the move. On the road again. Let's keep moving about with these fight nights. This is awesome. Now, Khalil Rountree versus Jamahal Hill is the main event. Oh, brother. I can't wait for this one. This is going to be violent. Now, I'm looking forward to this. Khalil Rountree versus Jamahal Hill. This has kind of been like the light heavyweight Tony Ferguson versus Khabib in a way, because this fight has been booked, postponed. Someone's out with an injury, and the someone that's always out with an injury is Jamahal Hill. Now, this is a worry I have going into this fight. Jamahal Hill, number one, is criminally underrated. I've seen a lot of people write him off because he's on a 2-fight losing streak. Bro lost to Pereira in the first round. Did you see what Khalil Rountree done? And then bro lost to Yuri Prohaska. So Pereira and Yuri are like, they're inside the top 3 best light heavyweights right now in the sport. And Yuri Prohaska versus Jamahal Hill. Jamahal Hill clearly won the second round in there. It was a close fight. Like, it wasn't as if he got absolutely smoked. I know he got finished, but he was competitive in there with Yuri Prohaska, and Yuri Prohaska absolutely blitzes Khalil Rountree anyway. But this is the thing with this fight, this is what everybody's going to have to learn to understand. MMA math doesn't add up, because the same people will be, did you see what Rountree done with Pereira, bro? And Jamahal Hill was literally tongue out, knocked out in the first round. So my response to that would be, but did you see what Jamahal Hill done to Johnny Walker, and Johnny Walker KO'd Khalil Rountree? Look, this fight right here, we've got a really underrated fighter in Jamahal Hill and an extremely overrated fighter, in my opinion, in Khalil Rountree. What is Khalil Rountree's best win? Like, he is top pound for pound, TikTok or a merchant GOAT. Man, he beats people like he's Arkham Batman. Man, he beats people like they owe him money, man. Who? Anthony Smith? Anthony Smith is this guy's best win. Like, Khalil Rountree has all this hype of being a punching bag for Alex Pereira. Am I wrong? Kutalab has beat this guy. It's like MMA match isn't going to add up here. Now, back to what I'm saying. Jamahal Hill came back, he obviously injured. That's why I had to vacate the title. Lost to Alex Pereira. He came back when he wasn't 100% fit. Then he tried to go right back into a fight with Khalil Rountree. That's where he had to pull out first time because he had problems with his knees. But then actually got back in there pretty quickly. Well, not really quickly. I think that was meant to be April and he wasn't seen again to January. But all the liquid and shit he had to get removed from his knee. Pretty quick turnaround from an injury like that. Gets in there in January, has 2 knee sleeves on. Obviously isn't in the best condition, if we're being honest. And gets knocked out by Yuri Prohaska. And is now back in the cage in June. Now, he took a lot of damage in those last 2 fights. I know he stood up right away after the referee came in and stopped him against Pereira, but the big left hook, bro's tongue fell out of his mouth. A lot of unanswered ground and pound shots, and then the Yuri Prohaska fight was a war. Where Khalil Rountree got beat up by Alex Pereira. A lot of damage sustained in that fight, and has taken a lot of time off to regroup and recover. But back to this fight. So the knees are obviously an issue for Jamahal Hill. His lower half, I think it was his Achilles went. That's why he had to give up the title. But he's obviously had problems with his knees. That's a problem going into a fight against Khalil Rountree, because he will target those limbs. You know, he's going to look to stomp on Jamahal Hill's legs. And Jamahal Hill doesn't have the quickest of feet. You know, I think Jamahal Hill is really going to get his legs chewed up here with stomps, because I think... But Khalil Rountree's a southpaw as well. So the outside leg kick is there for him. Yeah, so Jamahal Hill might be in trouble here with the lower half attack from Khalil Rountree, the stomps. But Jamahal Hill's underrated. in the sense of I think Jamahal Hill has got really good hands and he is very, very powerful in there. Look, I don't want to say Khalil Rountree's chinny or anything like that because look at the damage he sustained and the shots he took from Alex Pereira, but Jamahal Hill is a big puncher and lesser opponents with less punch power have hurt and finished Khalil Rountree. Khalil Rountree, in my opinion, he just isn't it. I actually don't see the hype in him. I see a lot of people picking him against Jamahal Hill, and I understand like the injuries and how quick Jamahal Hill's coming back to fights and shit like that. Is he taking the right time off to recover? I don't think so, and that's why I'm not like 100% certain in Jamahal Hill, because if this was a fully fit Jamahal Hill against a fully fit Khalil Rountree, Jamahal Hill knocks him out. Bruh. And that's still going to be my prediction for this fight. Look, I think Jamahal Hill is going to do a good job in the mid-range with Khalil Rountree. I think there is going to be a bit of an issue for Jamahal Hill with the stomps from Khalil Rountree. I think that there is going to be an issue, and maybe Jamahal Hill's chin has kind of deteriorated, and is completely gone now because Khalil Rountree is a big puncher, but I just think Khalil's got a better kicking game. But hand-wise, Jamahal Hill's so much better than him. He's so much slicker. I mean that. I know people will disagree with me on that one. But Jamahal Hill is good. And I think Jamahal Hill is going to stop Khalil Rountree. I actually think he KOs him in the second round. I'm not even joking. I think a straight left catches Khalil Rountree, puts him down. Couple of ground and pound shots. People might say early stoppage. I think Jamahal Hill gets the job done here. I think he stops Khalil Rountree. What are the odds? Yeah, he's sitting at an underdog. I think there's value in Jamahal Hill. Just saying. Moving on to the people's main event. We have got Rafael Fiziev, the guy who is from Azerbaijan, taking on Inacio Bahamontes. Bahamontes is on a crazy run right now. He's on a 3-fight win streak. All 3 of those wins by first round finish. His last fight against Jalen Turner, great performance, retired Jalen Turner. The fight before that, he got a first round finish over Manuel Torres, which is a really good win. In fact, it's better than the Jalen Turner win, in my opinion. Now, Rafael Fiziev is really good. I know he's on a 3-fight losing streak. I know he's coming off that loss to Justin Gaethje. But people forget, man, he took that fight on short notice against Justin Gaethje and put up a really good fight in both fights against Justin Gaethje. Arguably won the first fight. Obviously, what happened to him against Gamrot, very unfortunate with the injury. Fiziev's Muay Thai, his striking is next level, but doesn't carry punch power. And I think that is going to be a problem in here. The size difference between both guys as well, with Bahamontes 6'3", Rafael Fiziev 5'8". The reach advantage going in the favour of Bahamontes. We've had Fiziev toying with the fact of going down to featherweight. I think Rafael Fiziev is going to get stopped by Bahamontes. I think a second round TKO is on the cards for Bahamontes, to be honest. I think Bahamontes is really, really good. He is dangerous in the grappling. A really good striker with real power in his hands. I would give Fiziev the striking advantage. However, Bahamontes has the power advantage. And I can see him just cracking Fiziev. I can see Fiziev winning, if you know what I mean. Like, Fiziev will be winning the exchanges, the low kick battle, shit like that. But in the exchanges, the more damaging shots will be landed by Bahamontes. And I think eventually he will get to Rafael Fiziev, and I think he TKOs him in the second round. Although, don't be surprised if Rafael Fiziev goes in there, has a close decision with Bahamontes, and the judges edge it to him, because it is in his hometown. Moving on, we have got Curtis Blaydes versus Kuniev. Look, this is probably like the heavyweights, fucking Khabib versus Tony Ferguson. We've been needing to see this fight for a very long time now. I don't know why Kuniev is getting this privilege. In fact, I do know why. He's Russian and his second name ends in an EV, so that's why. But this is a good fight for Curtis Blaydes. Look, Kuniev, Renan Ferreira is his best win outside of, or just in his MMA career in general. The guy who Ngannou absolutely pieced, but he tested positive in that fight. It's not a no contest. He does have good hands and he does have fast feet, Kuniev. However, Curtis Blaydes is just better than him. Curtis Blaydes is a really good wrestler, in my opinion. I think Curtis Blaydes is really underrated. Sometimes he has a bit of an IQ issue, but Kuniev isn't the biggest puncher, so Blaydes isn't going to really have to worry about that. It's like when he's in there with the likes of Derek Lewis and Sergey Pavlovich, it's like Take these fuckers down. Why the fuck are you staying on the feet with them? But anyway, Curtis Blades, and I actually think his boxing's really been improved as well. Obviously, we haven't seen him since the Tom Aspinall loss, where he got absolutely smoked. But again, that's Tom Aspinall. He's doing that to everybody. Yeah, I think Curtis Blades wins this. I think he wins this dominantly. I think he wins this by... I think he beats Kuniev by decision. I think Curtis Blades gets the job done here. A questionable scorecard. I think Blades wins all 3 rounds, but one judge has it 2-1 to Blades. Ignore that voice break. Curtis Blades, he's winning. Moving on, we have got Orolbai versus Musayev. Now, look, I don't know much about this guy. He's making his UFC debut, so I'm not going to pretend to know loads about him. But I do know Orolbai is really good. Obviously, coming off a loss in what was maybe like one of the best fights of the year at UFC 308 against Rebecca. Pretty sure that was his last fight. What a war that was. His eye was swollen to fuck. It was crazy. But how do you say this guy's first name? Tofki? Tofaiq? I don't fucking know how to say this guy's name. You know who I'm on about anyway. He's done a lot of work in Ryzen. That's where he's done most of his career. I think he had 1 fight in Bellator. Again, I don't know much about him, so I'm not going to pretend. I've got Orolbai winning this one. Moving on, we have got Nazim Sadikov versus Nicholas Motta. Look, again, I've probably butchered his name. See, when they've got names like this, see when it's not like something simple to say, it's game over for me. Yo, Chad, can I get some help over here? Is this a W or L? But yeah, Sadikov is coming off a win over one of the Bonfim brothers, if I remember correctly. He's also beaten Terrence McKinney as well. I believe he's on a 2-fight win streak. Is it 2-fight or 3-fight? I actually can't really remember. Let me have a wee look here, just to refresh my memory. Well, yeah, he's on a crazy win streak, to be honest. He's unbeaten in the UFC, but he does have a draw on there. But yeah, Terrence McKinney, Ismail Bonfim, who he's beat as well. It's one of the Bonfim brothers. I think he's going to beat Nicholas Motta. Look, Nicholas Motta isn't great, to be honest. He's had some upset wins. He's a big puncher, but outside of that, he's ass. Like, he literally has a puncher's chance in here, and he's going to get beat. I think Nazim beats him. Decision. He is tough, Nicholas Motta. He is a big puncher. He's got a puncher's chance. You can't really count him out, but yeah, he's losing this one. Muhammad Naimov versus Bogdan Grad. Muhammad Naimov is going to win this. He's just better, and he's also known to cheat in fights, so that there does go some way. We have got KO making his UFC debut. Come on, KO! Taking on Alban Elliott. Is Alban Elliott being disrespected here? He's undefeated in the UFC. I think he's 3-0. The Welsh gangster. And they've got him in there against this Korean guy who's coming off a win on the Contender Series. I think Alban Elliott's been a bit disrespected here. Remember whenever he's calling out the likes of fucking Jorge Masvidal at UFC 314? Goddamn, boy, you know it, boy. Alban Elliott's winning this by decision. Ismail, we'll go for that, I can't say a second here, versus Jung Young Park. Jung Young Park, he's winning this one. Look at him. Look at him. He's winning this one. Melissa Mullins is winning this one. Irina, I'm not going to say her name. And if people are like, well, what's your breakdown for this women's bantamweight fight, bro? Pretty basic. She looks like a man, she doesn't. It's always good to go by that in women's MMA. Tiger Ulanbekov's going to win this one. Like, just look at bro. God damn. And then we have got Hamdi Abdelwahab versus Muhammad Usman. He's 4-0, known to cheat. Coming off a win in his last fight in the UFC. Muhammad Usman's on a 2-fight losing streak. But yo, the Usman era's back. The Usman era's back. Do you know what? Fuck it. I didn't pick Usman last weekend. I'm picking him this weekend. Let's go Muhammad Usman to win this by decision. Yeah, overall, UFC Fight Night Azerbaijan actually is stacked. I'm looking forward to this card. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that grrr stuff. And I'll see you all again in the next one.